My girlfriend said, "My father keeps asking why I am still with you, and honestly, I no longer have an answer." I replied, "You are right." Then I packed my bags, left a note. "Now you and your father can figure out together why you are single. My father keeps asking why I am still with you, and honestly, I no longer have an answer." She said it without looking at me. We were sitting across from each other in her apartment, the same place where she once traced circles on my wrist and called me her future. Now her fingers were wrapped around her phone, her thumb scrolling absently, like this conversation was just another notification she needed to clear. Her words didn't echo. They settled, heavy, final. Outside, rain tapped against the window in slow, deliberate rhythms, like time itself was waiting for my response. I noticed small things: her packed gym bag by the door, the unfamiliar cologne on her jacket, the way she avoided my eyes. The evidence had been there long before her confession. I felt no anger, just clarity. I nodded once and said quietly, "You are right." She finally looked at me then, confused. Maybe she expected a fight, maybe she wanted one, but silence is heavier than shouting. That night, while she slept peacefully beside me, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. Not broken, not lost, just finished. And for the first time in months, I wasn't wondering how to save us. I was wondering how to leave without making a sound. I wasn't the kind of man people noticed first. I worked quietly as a systems analyst, the invisible hand behind projects that others presented. My name rarely made it into conversations, but my work carried weight in rooms I was never invited into. I learned early that silence makes people comfortable enough to underestimate you. She was the opposite, confident, effortless, the kind of person who entered a room and rearranged its gravity. When we met 2 years ago, she told me my calm made her feel safe. She said I was different from the loud, careless men she'd known before. I believed her. In the beginning, she asked for my opinion on everything: her career moves, her fears, her future. But slowly, my voice became optional. She started deciding things, alone. Trips, plans, changes, informing me after the fact, not including me in the choice. I told myself it was temporary. People grow busy, life gets complicated, but the small dismissals stacked up. Her father never hid his disapproval. He saw my quiet as weakness, my stability as lack of ambition. He didn't see the promotions, the savings, the offers I declined to stay close to her, and she never corrected him. That was the part that stayed with me. Not his doubt, hers. It never happened all at once. It was the way she introduced me at her office party. "This is him," she said to her co-workers, her voice light, almost casual. Not my name, not what I did, just him, like I was a detail that didn't require explanation. I noticed the pause afterward, the polite smiles, the quick shift of attention away from me. Later that night, her father called while we were driving home. She put him on speaker without asking. His voice filled the car, low and sharp. "Is he still there?" She glanced at me briefly before answering. "Yes." A long silence followed. Then a quiet sigh from him, heavy with meaning. She didn't defend me. She didn't need to say anything. Her silence agreed with him. After that, it became routine. She stopped asking when I'd be home. She stopped saving me a place at the table when she ate. Sometimes I'd walk into the apartment and find her laughing on the phone, her voice warm and alive, until she saw me. Then her tone would flatten, controlled, careful. Once I heard her in the next room. "I don't know," she whispered. "He's just there. Not cruel, not loud, just honest." And somehow, that hurt more than anything else. The moment didn't come with shouting or slammed doors. It came on an ordinary Tuesday evening. I had stopped by her office to surprise her. She'd mentioned having a late meeting, and I thought bringing her dinner would remind her that someone was still waiting for her at the end of her long days. The receptionist hesitated when I said her name. "She left already," she said carefully. Left, but her car was still in the parking garage. I stood there for a moment, holding the warm bag in my hands, feeling the heat slowly fade through the paper. Something inside me told me not to leave. Not yet. An hour later, I saw her. She stepped out of the elevator, laughing softly, walking beside a man I had never seen before. Her posture was different, lighter, effortless. She touched his arm briefly as they stopped near the exit, a gesture she hadn't given me in months. She didn't see me. I watched her smile at him in a way she hadn't smiled at me in a long time. Not forced, not tired, real. And in that moment, something inside me went quiet. Not anger, not heartbreak, acceptance. I finally understood. I wasn't losing her. She had already left. I was just the last one to admit it. I didn't confront her. Confrontation is emotional. Emotion gives people time to prepare, to lie, to reshape the narrative before the truth settles. Instead, I observed, my work had trained me to see patterns. access logs, timestamps, inconsistencies others ignored. People were no different. They left trails in habits, in routines, in what they assumed no one was paying attention to. We shared an apartment, but the lease was in my name. I had signed it before she moved in, back when she called it our place instead of mine. Every utility account traced back to me. Every payment came from my account, quietly, consistently. She never asked. I began separating things slowly. I opened a private account she didn't know about, redirected my direct deposit, cancelled the joint streaming services one by one. Small details she wouldn't notice immediately, but would feel later. At work, I accepted a transfer offer I had declined months ago. Higher position, different city, a clean break disguised as professional growth. I didn't do it out of anger. I did it because clarity demands action. At night, she slept peacefully beside me, unaware that her safety, her comfort, her certainty, none of it belonged to her. It had always belonged to my silence, and I was preparing to take it back. The night she said it, "My father keeps asking why I am still with you, and honestly, I no longer have an answer." I gave her the only response that mattered. "You are right." She fell asleep easily after that, her breathing slow, peaceful, certain. I stayed awake. At 3:12 a.m. I stood up quietly. The apartment was still, the air heavy with the life we had built and the truth she had already abandoned. I moved through each room without hesitation. My clothes were already folded, my documents already gathered, my future already waiting. I packed only what was mine. On the kitchen counter, I left a single sheet of paper. "Now you and your father can figure out together why you are single." No accusations, no explanations, just truth. Before leaving, I paused at the doorway and looked back one last time. She was still asleep, wrapped in certainty she hadn't earned. I closed the door without a sound. By 6 a.m., I was at the airport. My phone buzzed once, then again, then endlessly. Her name filled the screen. I didn't answer. Some realizations don't need conversation. They only need absence. At first, she thought it was temporary. Her messages started cautiously. "Where are you? Did you leave early? Call me." By midday, the tone changed. "Why aren't you answering? We need to talk." By night, the truth reached her. I knew because her father called me. I let it ring. For 2 years, he had measured me in silence, in assumptions, in the comfort of believing I would always remain where his daughter left me. Now, for the first time, he had no control over the outcome. At work, I said nothing about it. My transfer was approved within days. My manager shook my hand with respect I had quietly earned over years of consistency. My absence from her life did not weaken me. It clarified me. Mutual friends reached out, confused. She told them she didn't expect this. That was the part that stayed with me. She didn't expect consequences. People rarely do when they mistake patience for permanence. The apartment felt different when I returned briefly to finalize paperwork. Empty but honest. No tension. No waiting to be chosen. What people don't realize is this. Self-respect doesn't arrive loudly. It arrives the moment you stop asking someone to see your worth and start living as if they never could. The new city didn't welcome me with anything dramatic. No sudden transformation. No instant relief. Just quiet. My apartment was smaller, cleaner, untouched by memories that didn't belong to me anymore. In the mornings, sunlight reached the floor without passing through someone else's shadow. I drank my coffee alone, not lonely but undisturbed. Her messages stopped after a few weeks. Not because she understood, because she finally accepted what absence means. At work, I became someone people listened to. Not because I had changed, but because I stopped standing in places where I was invisible. My voice carried naturally when it wasn't weighed down by the need to be accepted. Sometimes I thought about her. Not with anger, not with regret, just awareness. She had asked why she was still with me. Now she had her answer. She wasn't. The truth is, revenge isn't destruction. It isn't chaos or cruelty. It's removal. It's choosing yourself so completely that the people who doubted, you are left standing in the space where you used to be, forced to face the silence they created. I didn't win because she lost. I won because I finally stopped staying where I was never truly valued.